Tonight's Talk at 10, new allegations of problems at Syracuse University. The school says it's investigating claims that were reported by Yahoo Sports that the school violating its own drug policy over the last decade or so was something that might have been a violation for the NCAA. SU says it did report issues with drug testing to the NCAA. These new allegations do not involve any students on this season's record-breaking team, but the championship team from 2003 could be included in this investigation. Michael Benny joins us tonight for the Talk at 10, as he does every night. And just when we thought we were moving on from scandalous talk at Syracuse University involving the basketball program, moving into the postseason, the time where fans are ready to cheer on the team to 9 more wins and a national title, here comes Pat Forty and Charles Robinson and Yahoo Sports. And I guess let's start there. Syracuse fans don't like these guys tonight. No. And there doesn't seem to be much latitude in that opinion, that people are very upset about this story coming out and they're kind of saying, what is the big deal here? Now, I don't know if that's the way they should be saying it. I'm just saying that's what the fans
That's the overwhelming reaction.
Are saying. That's how they're reacting to this.
But there's a different reaction on the SU Hill, and that is a lot of people have headaches right now. A lot of the top officials at Syracuse University, up to, and I'm sure including Jim Boeheim, have a bit of a headache that they didn't have last week as it relates to this, because we're talking about allegations that were really born of the Bernie Fine scandal when it first broke. The Bernie Fine case is what drew national sports reporters and national news reporters to Syracuse.
Right.
And what happens when something blows up? People start digging around in the rubble. And what they seem to have found in the rubble of Bernie Fine are some disgruntled folks who are, in their words, intimate with the program or close to the basketball team, who had some other things that they wanted to dish on.
The interesting thing about this, I think, is it falls into the category of these stories about players using drugs that are involved in the program. When does it go beyond the murmurs of, well, you know, that such and such a player, you know, of course he does that kind of stuff, or somebody saw him at a party, somebody saw him at a fraternity house, and there could be truth to it. You know, it's hard for us to know that for sure, but where does it go from that kind of chatter to something that then somebody's so angry about it that they are talking to a reporter about it, and then it turns into something so big that the university has to report it. Now, to the university's credit, I guess we don't know yet. When did they report it to the NCAA? We don't know that yet.
We only know when they reported it to us.
That's right.
Was sometime after 4 o'clock
and that was after the story became public.
Correct.
We don't know if they were getting wind that Yahoo Sports was onto this and then reported it, or whether the reporting to the NCAA came before that. One would hope that if policy was followed correctly, it would have been some time before this reporting by Yahoo Sports would have taken place, if they're talking about allegations of violating their own testing policies that go back to 01, 02, 03, 04. So we just don't know that yet. There's a lot we don't know about this.
The process blew my mind. I didn't know much about drug testing in college athletics.
It's very odd.
And it is so incredibly bizarre to me that it can, first of all, that the university, which abides by all these NCAA rules when these student athletes are playing in games, in the postseason, can suddenly, during the regular season, sort of just make up its own rules for how it wants to deal with allegations of drug use by student athletes. That makes no sense to me. Why put yourself out there to be, I mean, you would seem like it would just be easier to have a governing body like the NCAA sort of be in charge of that
and
stuff.
Make the rules, yeah.
And make the rules. And this is when we do random testing. And no, there's no allegation against that kid, but we're testing anyway.
Yeah, the NCAA
because that's what we do.
They don't have that kind of power during the regular season. Yeah. Let's look at the statement from Kevin Quinn, because until the university did respond to this, which was about an hour after the story broke today, all we had to do was go by the story. But in this statement itself, SU makes some pretty serious acknowledgments here. They mention here, we'll go through this fairly quickly, that they self-reported possible violations to the NCAA, and it goes on to say with drug testing, and that there is currently an ongoing inquiry. So even if what we believe to be true, that these allegations are mostly talking about the earlier part of the last decade, around the time of the '03 championship, give or take a couple of years on either side, then there's still an ongoing inquiry, which leads me to believe it's a fairly new reporting of these violations.
I would agree with that. I'd also say that if this is true, if this proves to be true, all 10 individual cases of students being allowed to play in violation of the drug policy, we got a serious problem at the top levels of this program.
Yeah.
Couple that with Bernie Fine. I mean, there's an argument to be made for
and it's something that trustees will have to look at. But I'm not sure that this is even going to get to that level. I don't think that these violations are necessarily going to be bad for Syracuse University in the end. We don't know that yet. Long way from knowing that. Thanks for joining us, Michael. We'll be talking about this like 20,000 more times now, even while the team is playing. You can join the conversation. Many of you have, and put your opinions out there too tonight on Facebook and on our website, cnycentral.com.